Hello everybody, welcome back. So this is just going to be a real quick video, as quick as I can anyway. Very busy today, but I will make more later on. But it's just a little early, I suppose, for us to really determine what's going to happen with Bitcoin. So we're going to go to the daily chart. The daily chart is looking relatively strong, I'd say, definitely. Now we do have obviously this in a negative posturing, but still way up into the bullish territory. So the MACD technically is still good. RSI shooting straight back up. And the money flow index, plenty of room to move on that one. Above all major moving averages as well, so that is definitely all looking very good. Go down to a lower term time frame, and what we see on the 4 hourly is again extremely bullish, riding up basically way above all major moving averages, essentially being supported on the 7 simple moving average here. So that is again looking very good. Now the money flow index hasn't exactly topped out, but it's looking relatively high. But it's certainly not topped out, but it is quite high, coming down at the moment, which is not in any way concerning at all. RSI also looking quite high on the 4 hourly. So what I would suggest is at this point now, it's pretty much a no tradable zone. No way am I able to make any kind of prediction on this one at this very moment in time. But what we do have is some critical areas to look at. We'll get this. We'll show you right now what we're looking to see. So essentially, we've got areas of support and resistance from basically the price action at this very moment in time, which is about 18,500, all the way up to probably around about this zone where we found these candle bodies here kind of being rejected. So we're talking about between the price action at this very moment in time, which we're creeping within, basically to 18,800, maybe even a little higher because the top of the Bollinger Band is there. Now I am personally not really having any kind of bias at all at the moment. I'm absolutely neutral on this, but what I would say is that as we topped out over here, and again this was topped out on the daily most of all, and this was based upon an educated guess that most people will have been doing, which is that let's front run the all-time high. The most obvious place for a pullback will be there. And also when we looked at this blockchain whispers, which is just a rough estimate of what some of the major exchanges are doing, we saw the longs dropping off by about 10% in about 6 hours. They went all the way down from basically this level now that we're at again, down to about 62, and then a bit lower than that in the actual dump itself. So now we've increased those longs over the weekend. Normally weekends action sort of gets dumped into on a Sunday night or into a Monday, so we are only quite early on in the Monday, so there's plenty of opportunity for that to dump. But I'm not talking about major dumps like this. I'm still thinking that the consolidation of this zone is a plausible situation to be playing within. So as you can see, you know, we're in this blue box. There's not, I wouldn't call it a rejection, as we're just testing up these levels. But if we were to bring ourselves down, we would be incrementally taking steps down on the daily chart on these exponential moving averages. So first of all, we're looking at areas of around about 18,000 flat, roughly, which is where I imagine the 10 exponential to be converging with the 7 simple. So about 18,000 flat would be our first sort of little buyback zone. But really, if it is consolidation, these are just for little short scalps really. This could be a range that we're playing in, and this would also be really good for altcoins in the long run, because if this is a range that we're going to play in, and again longs are stacking still, you know, the shorts are minimal, I would say that there's a very good chance that we do go sideways in a very high zone between areas of around about 16,000 to areas of around about 19,000. Before essentially the money flows back into all the alts where they start to rally massively, and then flood back into Bitcoin. So for the moment, this is a potential consolidation zone, which could end up looking, you know, zigzagging down, making lower highs and maybe lower lows that could bring us down to as low as around 13,000 ish, wherever this trend line may be at the time. Now that is, in my opinion, the most likely scenario. But I can't deny the fact that the longs have stacked so high over the weekend that the buy-in pressure is actually really big. There's one one little problem with that. There's on the daily chart that, you know, despite the moves that we've had, the volume has tailed off a little bit, and so the price action's going up while the volume's tailing off. It doesn't really fill me with a great deal of confidence that this area would break to the up. We would need to see. I would like to see the inverse of this if that were to be the case. So price action going up, but volume going down. Normally, I'd like to see the opposite of that. So price action going up as the volume is increasing. So the momentum perhaps is losing its pace, but you know, like I say, this is why I'm kind of neutral at the moment. Personally, the consolidation is the most likely. Now, one thing I'm going to bring to your attention real quick is that those of us who have been using the bots, and we've been doing it for, I suppose I'm getting on for about a month now. I've been using it for about 6 or 7 weeks. Really, really, really good results on all of them, actually. Not a single bot has ever lost me any money. It's only just increased money constantly and consistently. The Black Friday sale ends today, so if you want to pick up a bot, these are the normal prices, by the way. 30% off all of these plans. I would definitely suggest get yourself set up. And if you wanted to go ahead with these bots, it's 30% off. Obviously, you pay a monthly subscription, but you can also pay an annual subscription. 30% off an annual subscription, that is a massive saving. A massive saving. I mean, to be honest with you, the bots really just pay for themselves. These prices are, you know, it's all catered for. The bot will sort you out. But if you can get this at 30% off, this is definitely the time to do it. So again, links in the description below, and I've got tutorials as well about how to set them up. So yeah, last chance really. You've got about 14 hours to sort that out if that's what you wanted to do. Anyway. So we've talked about price action and the possible consolidation, but if we were to break out of this zone, it's difficult to say where we would go, because we would probably find a rejection around these zones, obviously, because that's where we were rejected from previously. But to be honest with you, I think if we got up that high that fast, the all-time high would be met and probably surpassed. And I did have a theory a few weeks ago that we would have a dump and it would be bought back up its strength, and then we'd surpass our all-time high, blow off the top, and then we'd have a period of longer, unfortunately longer consolidation, as the shorts would be really high and in a very, very the bears would basically have the upper hand at that point for probably a prolonged period of time. We don't want that. What we'd rather see is a consolidation phase now, in order for a redistribution, profit taking, and then ultimate buyback zones in order for us to fulfill Bitcoin's destiny. So I don't think the all-time high is the likely scenario at the moment. I think a consolidation for maybe just a couple of weeks, maybe into December, mid-December, is the most likely scenario. But again, we're still quite early on. There is a CME gap between, it's quite a large one as well, to be honest with you. It's a very large one, between 16,200 to about 17,200. Now we don't have to fill the entire gap, but just dipping our toes in the water will be enough to consider that gap filled. So there is a likely possibility, a very likely possibility, that we do fill that gap, which is down at those levels. But it doesn't mean it happens today. If this is a consolidation phase, then it could happen, in that period that I've stated, whether it be 2, 3, 4 weeks or so. Anyway, I'm going to leave it with you there. It's a real short, quick video. But get yourself set up on the bots if this is your last chance for 30% off. And I hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.